point comes in. So we can create one of those, and that will allow traffic to flow in and out of our VPC specifically for that S3 service. So let's have a look at a hybrid storage example where we've got on-site storage in a corporate data center, and we've also got that stored in the AWS cloud in Amazon S3. Why would we do that? Well, it's great for a disaster recovery solution because it provides high-speed access to our data in our corporate data center, and at the same time, we're taking advantage of the durability and availability of Amazon S3 as a disaster recovery solution. So the first problem that we're going to encounter is that this corporate data center will have petabytes of data. And to transfer that over via the internet to the AWS cloud is not going to be practical. So AWS, they can send out to us a Snowball device, and that is a high capacity device that can store petabytes of data. And so we can upload, when we receive that Snowball device from AWS, we can upload our data to that, and then we can send that back to AWS, and they will upload that for us into the Amazon S3 bucket. And so that solves that problem for us. So then we've got to find a solution for making sure that the data in our corporate data center is synced with our AWS cloud. Now that's where the AWS Storage Gateway comes in, and that will orchestrate all of that for us. And so if you have got a high-speed link between your corporate data center and the AWS cloud, which you can with the AWS Direct Connect service, you can have the AWS Storage Gateway to orchestrate and manage that all for you. And what it will do, it will get your popular content, your content that is frequently accessed, and it will store copies of that on site in your on-site storage. But at the same time, it will store all of that data in an Amazon S3 bucket for you. And so then you've got the advantage of having all of the durability and availability of Amazon S3 as a disaster recovery solution. But at the same time, you've got high-speed access to your data, which is cached on the corporate data center. Let's have a go at using the Amazon S3 service. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to use the AWS Management Console to connect into the AWS cloud. And then we're going to create an Amazon S3 bucket. We're going to upload files to that bucket, and then we're going to download files from that bucket. And then finally, we're going to empty and delete that bucket. Now there are lab notes for this lab and the further ones coming up. So make sure that you download the introduction to AWS lab notes that come with this course, and let's get into it. Now, before we start the lab, you need to make sure that you have signed up for an AWS account. If you haven't, click on the sign up button up here at the AWS website. Once you've completed that sign up process, make sure that you take note of the email address and password that you used to sign up with. So once that's done, you can go to My Account and select the AWS Management Console. Once you've done that, you can log in using that email address that you used to create your account and the password that you used as well. So once you do that, you'll be into the AWS Management Console. Okay, once we've logged in, we'll be at the AWS Management Console. From there, we can go to Services and try and find the S3 service. Now that will be in the storage category. I actually don't like to use these categories because they change quite a bit, and when you're looking for stuff, it might be moved into a different category. So it does make life a little bit difficult. The easiest way is to select up in the top right-hand corner here is A to Z. And then if you're looking for S3, just go to S for S3 and you'll find it there. So once we've got into the S3 console, the first thing we need to do is to create a bucket. Now I've already created quite a number of buckets here for different labs and whatever I've done in the past, but yours will be obviously empty. You never created a bucket and it's a brand new account. So your screen here might look a little bit different to mine, but there will still be a create button or create bucket button there. So we'll click on that. And we need to give our bucket a name. So I'm just going to put in anything there, just a whole heap of rubbish there. But you can give it whatever you want to call it. Now, a bucket name needs to be unique across AWS. So if someone else has actually used that name, you can't use it as well. So it's a bit like domain names. Once you've got it, no one else can use it after that. So if I, for example, if I type _slab or something, no doubt that would have been gone. So I'll leave that as it is. It's just a whole scramble of letters there, and we'll click on next. We're not going to worry about versioning or anything like that. We'll just click on next. It's going to be a private bucket, so only us will, or only I will have access to this bucket. So we're not going to make it public. We're not going to change anything here. And next. So that's all we do there. It's got our name and region. So we're going to be in the US East region. And for all of the labs, make sure that you are in the US East region. It's the largest region and has the most services. And when services come out, they normally first come out in US East. It's also normally the cheapest region to use as well. So that looks all okay to me. We'll just click on Create Bucket. If I scroll down, I should be able to find that bucket name that I did. There we go. So just that scramble of letters there. So it will have a link to that bucket. So we'll just click on that. And there we can see our bucket is empty. So our bucket, it's simply a repository to dump objects to. Could be files, could be videos, could be a whole directory. So what we'll do now is it will upload a folder to this bucket. So we'll click on upload. Now, we can click on add files here, but I don't like to use that. The easiest way is to drag and drop. So if you're going to bring in a folder, for example, it's much easier to grab the whole folder and just drop it on the form. So that's what I'm going to do now. And we just drop that whole folder onto that form. And we click on next. And it's only going to be access for us, so it's going to be private. We'll leave that as it is. And the storage class. So we've got a number of different storage classes, depending on what the availability is, how long we're going to be using it, how quickly we need access to it, all this sort of thing. So we're just going to use the standard storage class. We'll click on next. And that's just a review screen, and we'll click on upload. So there you can see down the bottom, it's starting to upload those files, that whole folder with all the files inside of it. So now that that has uploaded, we can select this folder, open it up, and we can download a file, get it back again. So let's do that. So we just click on the link in this folder to open up that folder. And I'm just going to download these lab notes. If I click on those, on that link for the lab notes, and I just do download lab notes. And there we go. So that's downloading those that PDF. Now, I just want to talk about this screen because a lot of people have a bit of trouble with this, because instead of clicking on download, they scroll down here and they click on the object URL. Now, if we click on that, and I'll do that now, this is what you get, access denied. So what that is you're trying to access through your browser directly to that object, and it's a private object, so you can't access it. So if you want to have a file that is accessed like that, you need to have it public, and you also need to enable website hosting in Amazon S3. So we'll just get out of that. So if you get that screen, that's what's happened. You've clicked this object URL instead of clicking the download link here. So that brings us to an end. Now, at the end of all of these labs, I like to clean them all up and delete everything that we've done, simply because we don't want to get billed for it. So if you're operating on a new account, you're going to be getting a free tier. And so all of this stuff that we're doing here today will be free. And we just need to make sure that we clean it up afterwards. So I'm just going to jump back and click up the top here to the link to that bucket. And I'm just going to select that folder. I'm going to go to Actions and scroll down until I find Delete. And I'll delete that. And now our bucket is empty. So one more thing we can do, if we really want to clean this up, we can go back into our S3 management console by clicking on Amazon S3 up the top right-hand side there, or top left-hand side. And if we scroll down to find that bucket, and there it is. And then we can just click delete to delete the bucket. So we need to put in the name of the bucket and confirm to delete it. So there we go. If we have a look for that bucket, it's no longer there. So that brings us to an end. And coming up next, we're going to be doing some more looking into some of the services of AWS, in particular database services. And we're going to be creating a MySQL database and connecting to that database. So some pretty cool stuff coming up, and I look forward to seeing you in that one.